Hiya, Thanksgiving Day. Time to get cracking on the new-ish engine, the refurbished engine that I picked up from Connecticut, remember? This piece of art here. The first thing we're going to do is check the valve clearances, I believe, is the best thing to start off with. And then we'll start assembling it with all the components over here. I have my new dynamo, carburetor that my dad gave me, and distributor that I picked up over there in Connecticut at that time. But we did the valves in the other engine just recently, right? So I'll probably speed through most of this, even though I'm going to tape it all. I'll put it on fast forward so that you guys aren't bored to death, since you've kind of seen all this already, right? Albeit in my little engine that I was working on. Everything looks so shiny and new on this engine, it's difficult to wrap my head around about it. And remember, you guys saw this beautiful gasket before. So let's get busy. I have left them out. Yeah, 6 thou is what I have here. So we rotate until this is slack, each valve. I just did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just so I could keep track. This is not the best light for you guys, is it? Let's just move it in here and then move you guys in similarly so you can see better. And the best way of doing this is just get right up close and personal, right? Right, as long as it doesn't impede what I'm trying to do, I guess. I don't like the way this wobbles all the time. I guess it is what it is. Like now, why isn't that getting slack? I'm trying to get it to, I didn't need to move you guys, sorry. I'm trying to get it so it's slack in number 1, right? Why ain't it getting slack? There's a bit of compression in this engine, just saying. There's the, never remember, inlet or exhaust. don't see that lifter rising at all. What? Oh, there we go. Right, so that's number one. Both there. Right, that's a bit loose. That should be at 6 thou, right? Let's turn it another wee bit, just to make sure. Right, the gap in there. There is no gap. See, there should be a little bit of play in there. You guys are right in the way, yeah. And we do need better light, don't we? It's better when it's like that, so you can see. But that's it loose now, right? It should be loose. So are any of them loose? I think they're all buttoned up too tight. If that's loose, I mean, it should be 6 thou of a clearance, right? Shouldn't be tight up against that. Right, so, I mean, we expected that to happen, right? The clearances were set. So let's set the clearances. Lock nut. This is quarter BS. Is not the right size. This one is. What we do. That's a good one for the. Oh, this one. Too small. Too small. That is something. That's really not a great size either. That's a good one. Right, so what size is that? 7/16 American. This is quarter Whitworth. It seems to be a good one for that. So now, to tighten that goes down, and this should screw down to give us more clearance, right? Not much though. 6 thou is not much, so yeah, there's 6 thou now, and it's a wee bit too loose. That's just a little bit of resistance now. Right, so hold that in place and then tighten the one at the bottom, right? Keep that in place right there and tighten this one down. Tighten the bottom one, which I guess is a little bit. So I'm screwing that clockwise. There we go. Just check it again. Just slight resistance on. Just a wee bit too tight actually. So let's screw that down a little bit. Yeah, it's just about right. Tighten that up once more. Try and hold that exactly in place. Check it once more. Okay, pretty good. So, put those 2 wrenches in my pocket. And I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted. And then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worry, why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in this world did I do? Crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying, crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving. Okay. We didn't check, did we? I have a bunion growing and it's hurting my toe, so I can't actually stand for hours the way I used to. That's annoying. Right, so now I want to screw it down to create clearance, right? So let's just put one little, look at that. Right on, baby. Right on. So I'm not hitting one of those bolts this time. Nuts. So let's hope we can just tighten that right down there. And then not ideal. Not to listen to it a little bit again. Right, so hopefully that worked. No. Yeah, good. Okay. That's all the clearance is set. So 6,000 is correct. Check that again later. Let's just put that gasket and valve cover back on again. Very quick. The vent holes go to the top, so I read. So now you know, vent holes to the top. And let's see if we can slot that in the right little hole. You can see it a little bit. And this one as well. And then just now I have several fuel pumps. That sounds healthy, but I am getting nothing out of it if I do sounds good. I get nothing out of that. So I think I'm going to call that one not one I want to pursue right now. I think this is one I got with it, with the other spares. This one. I don't know. Because they're self-priming, maybe you don't get that. This has got the little manual priming thingy bob. This goes in here like this, look, so see that hole? That's where that goes. Like that. Right? But I don't want to fit one that doesn't work. Of course not, darling. I think the one, we were pretty sure the one on the other engine was working right. So let's go take that off and put that one here. While we're sitting right here, right? So let me go get that one. Right, so this is the gubbins that I just took off. The engine that spent so much time trying to get started, remember? The wrecker. So, the junker. This, listen to this when I pump it. I can actually hear the suction. So we're using that one. And I think the easiest way of doing the gasket is, well, first of all, I have to clean out the blue gunk that was on there. Right. I didn't want to use my one and only good gasket, putting that junker together, so let's just get rid of this blue stuff. This is simply to stop oil seeping through that joint, right? Oh, I see. The other ones were studs, so I'm going to have to do something about that anyway. First of all, I need to get that hose off. I'm going to go on with that on it. Is it? Aye, aye, aye. And these gaskets. My nuts and bolts. I'm just going to leave these hoses on since they worked before. I figured they would work again. So let's just see if we can get them off intact. I think so. Just need to persuade it a little bit. Persuade it. Didn't really want to come off. FYI. There we go. Okay, so therein lies a problem. We need those right diameter, and appears to be the right thread. Cool. So we'll just put these in with a couple of bolts, I think. Does it matter if they stick through? It might matter if they stick through. So let's put the gasket in there. And let's just off like that up just now. Whoops. Get in there. I want to turn this over and see how it all fits together anyway. Dear. That's the problem with you guys being right here with me. Sometimes it makes things a bit difficult, you know? A bit on the difficult side. I need one more washer for this. Probably stealing washers from somewhere else. So that's okay. Right, now I need to get that gasket up in there. Where are you, gasket? Up there. Oops. Probably a more elegant way of doing this, huh? Sure there is. I'm just tightening up this bolt now. And then remind me to just check underneath, make sure they're not going to protrude on anything inside there. We'll just keep working on this side. Once we've got the fuel pump in here, we'll put the combined exhaust and inlet manifold on there. Fit our carburetor. We'll just check that carburetor before we do anything. And rely on it, you know. Had it soaking in oil, so everything should be good and lubricated, but I didn't clean it or anything, so probably good to do that. I did not put any blue stuff on this, it's just a paper gasket. I figured if we take it back off again, maybe we'll reuse that paper gasket, right? So let's not be too handy about using up our gaskets now. Okay. And we have a little fuel supply pipe there, good. And ditto on the other side. So that's that. Now I need to switch off again and we'll put the inlet exhaust manifold on. It's 2:15 on Thanksgiving, though I think I'll call that quits for now. Thank you. Let's continue on with the 1928 Retrieval project. So I've just set the valve clearances, put in the fuel pump here, remember. I want to see if I have bolts that will bolt in here instead of the studs. You'll remember that I got some bolts to fit the fuel pump there. I may have the right threads here, but not enough of the right size. These are all coarse thread, I think that's a fine thread. Yeah. That was the right diameter, but wouldn't screw in. It's going to be too skinny. Maybe not. Yeah, still not screwing. I think that's fine thread. So none of those BSF is going to fit, which means taking the studs out of the existing engine and refitting them here, which I know for sure one of them broke. So that's going to be interesting. A bit of debris in there, huh? Okay, so I'll sign off just now and then we'll try and figure out the conundrum of the studs. I have 3 exhaust manifold studs after about an hour. I'll show you how I'm getting them. So here I am with the old Austin 7 engine, right? So you've seen this many times in other channels, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, my juice is just about out, my PB blaster, but put some juice on it, on where you wanna. Oh my goodness, I'm completely out. Okay, and then I already put some on it. Thank God I still have some propane left. Heat it. I'll heat it for a while. I've had best results heating it right at the joint there, although I imagine that that would dissipate the heat into the block. But with this propane torch, it's an old gub thing. I've had this 10 years was the last time I used it. I still have some propane left in it, not much. But I kept this on here for a few minutes until it started. It wasn't glowing red. I don't think it could get hot. Maybe it could get hot enough for that if I put enough heat into it. But it certainly started to go white, and it dried off all of the juice that I had put on that in the PB blaster. I'm completely out of PB blaster. I need to get some more. But you know, it's quite a while you have to heat this up. I hope this is coming through okay. Can you see it? I don't actually know if you can see it, but I think you can see it. Anyway, you can see it gradually heating up here. It's dried all the juice. It did not glow red. I don't know how long it would take to glow red. Anyway, that was it, right? And then I tried to squirt some more juice on it each time, but I'm completely out of juice. So, then I put in the vice grip that Derek recommended with the screw down, right, so you can really tighten it. This is pretty darn tight now. I'm going to point at that vent pipe there, huh? In the valve chest. Now I'm going to tighten this. It was quite a bit tighter than that before. And of course you have to do this when it's still hot. There it turned. And what I tried to do each time was scoot a wee bit of juice in there again. So it picked up some of that juice, and actually see, I'm not just unscrewing it, I'm telling it to try and work some of that juice in there. This one's actually coming out easier than the other two. Alright. It's the same old thing when you're talking about taking any of these studs out, heat and juice. PB blaster seems to be the best. I did break one of these studs, by the way, because you're putting quite a bit of force on them. Maybe not as much force now since I've got it started. Yeah. And then I changed to just my mould grips once I got it going right. Oh, let me keep this. Hope you can see that it's turning now. It'll be hot, but by the time I've unscrewed all this, I can usually handle it okay. So, and then rinse, repeat. So I've got 1, 2, 3 out like this so far. Oops, hot. hot, and it does fit the other engine block, so that's good. So that's it. Repeat. Woo, baby, that was a long time. I think about an hour to get these studs out. I did break a couple. I'm hoping I can get some kind of thread put on them, the ones that I broke, and still have enough length to put this exhaust manifold on. I've been inverting them because the threads that come out of the other manifold weren't too good. The other block, I should say. See, I think they seem to screw in better on the inverse side. Maybe not that one. I got a few threads in these things, so let's see if we can get a few more. I'm getting my healthy dose of. I found more PB Blaster, wee miniature tin in my tool bag. Thank goodness. So we don't need the big scrooby end thing, just a little scrooby end thing. And let's see if we can get a few threads on these things. It's a bit wobbly. That one seems to be screwing in okay. I would much rather screw them in by hand, you know. Are you guys seeing this okay? Yeah, you're seeing it, right? I'm just going to screw these in a little bit. I don't know how much. As usual. Me no. But, at least a few threads, right? This is the one that's completely broken off, see? I won't tighten that up just now. As long as I can get a gas tight seal on that manifold, they don't need to be screwed in a lot, do they? Don't they naturally? No, they won't screw in. They're just little brass nuts that go in these things. So you can't get much force on them, which is fine by me. It means the brass comes out really easily. It's the steel studs that don't come out very easily. I'm being cheap because I can just send away for replacement studs, I'm sure, right? And I still might do that. Because now the block that we just assembled doesn't have these studs. I'm not tightening these up too much because I don't want to break them or nothing. I just want them in there, right? So we can tighten that nut on them. Remember, one of these was one of the ones out the other engine that we spent so much time trying to start. Was busted, remember? I tried even to get that to screw in, but I couldn't. See, this is busted as well. See it? The end's busted off in that other block. That's the advantage of this squeaky clean block, right? It's just wonderful, man. I'm sure the guys that know what they're doing are saying to me, screw them all the way in. I'm just super paranoid. These are a bit fragile. They seem to break awfully easily. So I think if I get a few threads in so it's tight, you know. These are all tight. Well, this one, with the exception of that one. I might try and get a good stud out the other block. Just put it in there instead of trying to thread that thing. Right. Wouldn't that make more sense? Yeah, let's try and do that as soon as we have that opportunity anyway. Let's just try this exhaust manifold in there without the gasket. Probably needs a bit of a clean off. Right, this is the exhaust and inlet manifold, remember? It's combined. So let's see if I can just slip this on. Come on, baby. What's wrong with you? All quite line up, that's what's wrong with it. Of course. Don't exactly see what's going on there. Sorry if I'm blocking your view, but I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Oh, there you go. Come on, baby. Is it that one? There's a few that are not quite lining up, which leads me to believe they're not exactly straight. Oh, there you go. So what about that one? Need to put some washers in these because I didn't tighten them up enough, right? But we'll get there. This is just long enough. This is not long enough. Okay, so let's switch off and I'll see if I can get another stud to fit there. Okay, so I tried to take 3 of the old studs out that old block that we couldn't get started. All 3 of them snapped off in the block. Someone had put new studs in here in the other block, right? 3 new studs. They're the wrong thread, but they just threaded them in willy-nilly, so that's what I just did. I know, this is half-assed. But it's tight, they're all tight, and I did manage to get this back on again. A bit finagling, it's obviously, the studs are not all lined up perfectly. But right now, we're going to fit this, and we'll see where we go from there, right? So, on with the exhaust manifold gasket. And I guess it's the exhaust manifold and inlet manifold gasket, right? I had already reworked that surface, it's not too bad. You know, the mating surface of that. I see one wee spot of old gasket material. I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, a couple of spots of old gasket material. And now I'm going to offer that up to that new gasket. You can see some smoosh on there. I don't want no smoosh. Okay. It's in pretty good shape because I just cleaned it all up before I put it on the block. It seems a long time ago now, but you see what I mean about it not exactly wanting to go in there too easily. But you just need to kind of persuade it, I guess. Right, now this is going to be a different nut, right? But we'll try and get the rest of them in there with the washer and see how we go with that. And a couple of washers on some of these because I haven't screwed them in enough. Okay, fair enough. I'd rather do that than screw them in too tight and break them, right? So, which is what I was toying with there. These nuts are not the brass nuts. Maybe I should get the brass nuts, huh? The brass nuts? Are these the brass ones? Maybe. Yeah, they look brass as opposed to those steel ones, don't they? That's interesting. That's off a Volkswagen. It's off a Volkswagen! Don't use it! Right, so that fits on there, so I want a couple of washers on there. My little Freund looking. It's absolutely filthy. Maybe not the right thread, so. That seems to be super. I'm just giving them a little squisher. W40 to get all the crap out of the threads, huh? Coming up on lunchtime, I'm getting a bit peckish. A bit on the old peckish side. Ain't much on that. Let's see if we can get just a regular nut on there. There's one of the broken ones, right? Not great threads on that end. This is not going to be the same thread, I don't think. I want to find a nut to fit that. Okay, we need just one little washer on there, and that same nut on that one. Should be roughly the correct thread, I think. That does not want to go in there. That was not easy. This is the big brass oversized one. Come off the other car. Seems to be okay to tighten that down. See if we can tighten these up now. Let's tighten the stud. Ow. Please just tighten up. Doesn't seem like the right thread somehow. But we're going to persevere. Give it a squish of stiffy stuff. Give it some living. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Right. I don't know how tight these are supposed to be. I'm sure there's specs on the interweb. I'm just going to go tightish with a little tiny wrench. Right, this is not putting a lot of torque on this. This is a 12 millimeter metric. My God. Okay, try this one. Tighten the nut stud in as well instead of tightening the nut, see. I think because it's brass, it's just rethreading itself. And I don't care how it tightens up, as long as it tightens up. It's not the right size. Put a ring on this, you know. It's not going to fit either. Jeez. It is not a metric nut and bolt. It is not. Quarter foot worth. No. I might not get this to tighten and just strip, you know. I'm pretty sure I rethreaded that. In fact, I can see the thread coming out of the damn thing. Ah, gee. I may waste my time with this. But it's a steel stud and it's a brass nut. So surely it would just rethread. Maybe I'll get a couple of turns on it. See the thread coming out of it? Blimey. None of these are going to fit. Come on. There must be a... It fits that size, surely. That's too small. Wow, nothing fits that. That is mind blowing to me. 7/16. Ah, really. I'll ring it this fit. Keep that 12 millimeter there. Yeah, so. That's good if it's 12 millimeter. Oh my goodness. Sorry about this brand new engine being a bit subjected to Chris Law. Not quite up to par type stuff. Tight-ish. This is a stud that I reversed because it broke. I took it out. but there's still some decent threads on the other end of it. That's what I'm doing now. Got a little bit. And this one, maybe. That's not going on straight. It's screwing the stud in instead of screwing the button open. Not good, dude. Let's see if I can get it to screw up. No. I think it's just going to disappear in there and not give us any threads. Wow. I'm getting a couple of threads, maybe? I don't think so. Just strip. Darn. So the short one's no good. Darn it. I wonder if we can get that back out again. Might take this all back off again. That'll be fun. See, the studs are screwing in. As I'm trying to tighten the nuts. Tight. So we'll get everything except this one. There's nothing holding that in there. Nothing. No. Straight out. Oh dear. Can I get my end of my grips on there and pull it out? Nope. Damn. If in doubt, don't screw it in, man, screw it out. Can I just catch that a wee bit? Damn it. I'd need to take the whole thing back off again, wouldn't I? So let's just call a halt just now and we'll get back to this. Take that back off again. What I did was I just screwed the nut on before I screwed the stud in there. I hope that will work okay. Those threads were pretty much the reason I was having that problem, was the threads on this broken end were pretty bad. But I forced that on there, rightly or wrongly. Now a couple of studs come out with the nuts. I'm going to try and put this back in again and then put those studs back in where they come out. I hope. I hope. Right, the broken one first. That is threading in. This one, I believe, come out here. Seems to be okay. Okay. And this came out the last one that was empty. This one. Okay. Try again. To tighten these all up. So, a couple of turns on this. I'm coming home, I've done my time. Now I got to know what is or isn't mine. If you receive my letter telling you I'll soon be free, then you know just what to do if you still want me. If you still want me, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do you still want me? If I don't see a ribbon round that old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, put the blame on me. If I don't see a yellow ribbon round that old oak tree. Bus driver, please look for me, 'cause I can't bear to see whatever I might see. I'm really still in prison, and my love, she holds the key. A simple yellow ribbon's all it takes to set me free. I wrote and told her, please tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do you still want me? If I don't see a ribbon round that old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, put the blame on me. If I don't see a yellow ribbon round that old oak tree. Not much, because they all seem a bit delicate to me. This one, a little cinch, a little cinch, a little cinch, a little cinch, a bigger one, cinch, 2 cinches, 3 cinches. That's enough of that. Cinch. That's it. So, carburetor next. I've got my handy dandy self-made carburetor gasket made out of silicone, so I'm going to put on there. And then we have to inspect the carburetor right. I couldn't get that engine started using that other carburetor, so I'm more inclined to use this carburetor, which came from my dad. But I really haven't had a good go through of this carburetor right, so we'll have a look at that next time around.